we had already seen how to create a list and how to change the data, access some specific data through indexing, and how to slice the list. Now we will continue with the other operators in list. And the first one is this in operator. So why do we use it? Well, let's say that we have a list and we want to check if a specific item is in that list or not. So does that list contains that item or not? So for that one, we use this in operator. Let me show it through the our coding example. Let's say that we have this list A 1 2 3 4, and then we want to check, okay, is 3 in our list? So we use this in as a keyword. So the syntax is we give the value we want to check, we want to search in keyword, and then the list name that we are looking for. Then it will return us either a true value or a false value. So if it is in it, it will give us true. But if we give a value that is not in our list, then it will give us a false value. So we can use it in many operations, like in this example. Let me zoom in this to easily see it. Yeah. Here we have also a list, product numbers, in which we have all these 4 numbers. And then we ask user to give us a product number so that we will check it. And we keep it in this search variable. And then in an if loop, in an if statement, we say, okay, if this search, the item that we are looking for, is it in this pronums list? If it is, then we'll just print what it is found in the list. Otherwise, then we will do that it's not found. So in shortly, in operator is used to check whether a list contains a specific item or not. Do you have any questions so far? Shall I proceed to the next section? Slide. And Python provides many functions for us to process and manipulate the list. And one of them is this append function. Append function basically adds one more item to the end of the list. So again, I would like to show it through the coding part. So we have this list A, which has this 1 2 3 4. Then if I say a.append, append is our function name, and then whatever we want to add, let's say A, okay. Then this function, this list will contain 1 2 3 4, and then A. So it adds this item to the end. If you want to add one more, let's say B, then when we do it, again, it will add it to at the very end. So in short, we can use this append function to add items to the end of the list. We append some more items to the list. And the other one is this index function. Index function is used to find, for a given item, we check, okay, is it in this list or not? But if it is, what is its index? Is it first one? Is it the second one, third one? So it returns the index of that item. But if it is not in it, then it actually throws an exception. And it gives us a value error. So I'll first show it in our code. Let's say that in our A function, A list, we use this index function. And then if we give, let's say 2, what is the index of 2 here? So we start from 0. So index of 1 is 0. Index of 2 is then 1. So it should return me 1, as you can see here. But if we give it a number that doesn't exist, a value that doesn't exist in it, let's say 6, then it gives me a value error. So my code can crash. Because of that, in my code here, what we do is, let me zoom in also to better see it. We have a list, again, a food list, pizza, burgers, and chips. and then we print some messages, and then we ask user, okay, which item should I change? Okay, and then we keep it this item name in this item variable, and then we write it in a try block, because the index function can give us a value error, and if we don't handle it, if we don't catch it, the program will crash. That's why we write in this try block. And then what we do is we first use this food is our list name, food.index, and then as an parameter we give the item. It gives us the index of that item. And then we ask the user to enter the new value. Why do we use this index? Well, we use it to, in this example, we use it to, because we want to change the list based on that index number. So we add it to the new item and then display the message. And at the end, we have this value error because index function might give us some value error. We have to keep it, we have to catch it, otherwise our program will crash. So as an example here, you see one example. We ask user to, here are the items, which item should I change? Then user provides chips. Then we search for it, and then the chips index will be 0, 1, 2. So for that one, and then we ask user to what do you want to put in that. Then we got this potato, and then the name list will become pizza, burger, and potato. But if the user says Coke, and then our code will not crash anymore. It's not in the list, but at least we catch it, and then we said, okay, it's not found in our list. Any questions so far? Shall I proceed? The other one is insert, and we have sort, remove, reverse. Well, the good thing with the Python is that it has so many functions that you can use easily to process your data. And this is one of the reasons that Python is one of the main programming languages for data science, machine learning, AI. So if you want to work on these fields, probably Python will be the language that you will use. It's one of the reasons is that you can easily change and process the data. So what is this insert function? Well, in the append function, we were able to add some item to the end. But what if we want to add an item to a specific location? For instance, we have this list, James, Catherine, and Bill, and then we want to add this Joe at the beginning, not at the end. So if it was at the end, I would just say append. But now I want to add it to the index 0, so I use this for that case. I use this insert function, and I say, okay, I want to add it to the 0, and I will put Joe. Then, okay, what happens to James? Because James index is also 0. It was 0, but I'm saying, okay, in the index 0, I want to put Joe. Well, it basically shifts all of them, so it doesn't override it. We still keep the value of James, even though it was in the index 0. Now it will be index 1, but all the others are shifted, and we could insert it in any place. Going to our example also. Again, here is our list, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C. And then if I want to insert new value, which is, I want to add it that I want to comment after between 3 and 4. Okay, so the index should be 0, 1, 2, 3. So I will say 3, and again, I would like to put this new item. Then A becomes now 1, 2, 3. New item is between 3 and 4. And but all the others are shifted, but I didn't lose any data. All right. You mean why is it 3? So in the index, we always start counting from 0. So the first index of the first item is not 1, it is 0. So when I'm looking at this, index of 1 is 0. Index of 2 is 1. Index of 3 is 2. So I want to add it to index 3. So which means that I want to add it from between 3 and 4. That's why I said that 3. So I will add this 3. This is the index number, not the value. And then what is the index 3? It is again 0, 1, 2. So after 3, I will add this new item. Is that clear? So this is, yeah, this. Normally we start counting from 1, like how many items you have, and normally in daily life you would start counting from 1. But in computer science, this is in many programming languages, like I can say most of the languages, the index starts from 0. This is, yeah, this might, I mean, you need to get used to that, like because we start counting from 0. In some programming languages like MATLAB, yes, it is 1. It starts from 1. But in C, C++, Java, Python, in many programming languages, it starts from 0. So that's why sometimes it is confusing to identify what should be the correct index number. All right. The other one is sort operation. So if you have the numbers which are, as you can see, they are not sorted, 9, 1, 0, 2, 8, 6, and on, and I want to sort it in ascending order, which means from the lowest to the highest. Okay? So what I can do is I can just easily, if I call this sort function, it will give me all the numbers in a sorted order. I will also do it in my list, but actually it won't work, and then we will fix it with another function. If I say a.sort here, well, I will not be able to run it because I have numbers and I have strings. So that's not comparable. Because of that, what I have to do is I have to remove these items, new item A and B. How can I do it? Well, I can do it with this remove function. The remove function, basically, we give it an item, and if it is in that list, it will be removed from that list. So in going to back to my example, if I say a.remove and then new item, and then a.remove also A, because I have A here also, and I also want to remove B, so I want to also remove B. Now this is the value of A. Oh, but it's not, it's already sorted, doesn't make sense. Let's insert a number to the index 0, a large number. So now it's not sorted anymore. Now I want to sort it. Okay? If I say a.sort, then it will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10. So it sorts the values in a list from the smallest one to the largest one. In other words, in ascending order. Any questions so far? There's one more function that we will see, which is the reverse function. So reverse function, basically, it reverses the order of the elements in a list. So if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when I call the reverse function, it will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if in our example again, if I say a.reverse, then it will be 10, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it will be in a descending order from the largest to the smallest. So it basically reverses the order of the documents. All right, so we have seen all these functions in Python, and we will see more. But again, Python is a powerful language because you can easily do many things with a very limited number of codes. We can just call the sort function. It will sort all the items in a list. It will reverse the items by reverse function, and so on. And there's some more functions, which is, one of them is del, D-E-L. It stands for delete. Well, it is again to remove some items from the list. But the difference between remove function that we have seen here And the delete function that is here is, in the remove function, we give the item. Like, I want to remove burgers. I want to remove this chips item. But in a delete function, we say that, okay, I want to remove the item with the index of 2. I want to remove the item in the index 1, in the index 5. So we give the index number to remove the items. Like in this example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I say del. Now this is not, again, another function difference is that we don't say mylist.del. In the reverse function, let me go back to my code again. I say that from my list, then a.remove. But if I want to use del function, I'll just say del and then a. So it's not a.del, okay? And then we will give which index we want to remove. So in our case, let's say that I want to remove the first one, this, or let's say the one that has this index 1. Which one is, so index of 10 is 0, index of 4 is 1, so it should remove 4. When I hit this, and then let's now check the again the list of list. Now it is 10, 3, 2, 1. So the 4 one is removed. So to recap, it's similar to remove function, but the difference is that here we give the index, not the value of the items. And also we don't say that a.del. It is like a del function, built-in function of Python. Any question? The other one is this min and max functions. This is also a very nice feature. Like if you have a list of numbers, a real long list of numbers, and you want to find okay, which one is the largest one. So you can easily just use this max function. I will use it here. So if I have this list, 10, 3, 2, and 1, what is the largest number in this list? I'll just use this max function, and now I will give my list as a parameter to that. It will give me the highest value in that one. And if I want to find the minimum one, so which one is the smallest number, then I will just use this min function. So by using these two functions, I can easily find the largest and the smallest values in a list. And the other one is enumerate. So this is maybe harder to explain also, but in some cases we need the data, of an item in the list, and also its index. So if we need these two cases, then we can use this enumerate function. I will copy paste this code actually, and then I will go to my part. I will fix the problems that's coming from copy paste. Yeah, here it is. So in this code, what we are doing is we have a list that has all these numbers, and then for each values, if I need the value itself and also the index for each item, I call this enumerate function. Okay, so what does it return? It returns this, a list of tuples. As you can see, 0, 20, 1, 22, 2, 19. What is this? Let me also print the diameters function to easily see them. I will also recall it again. What is it? Yes, so here it is. Here is our original list, diameters, and here is what enumerated returns. So it is 0, 20. What is the index of 20? It is 0. Then what is the index of 22? 1. It's 1 and 22. What is the index of 19? It's 2, and so on. So it returns me a pairs of data, a list of pairs for each item, and this is the value of that item and also its index. So how can I use it? Well, for instance, in this code, okay, the screen is a little bit dirty, so I will run it one more time. Yeah, here it is. So it enumerates me. It gives me a list of pairs. That's why I have this index and comment D. So I have two values here. The first one gives me the index, and the other one is the value. So when I print it, for the diameters 0, which is, I'm using it, coming it from here, and then its value is 20. So in short, when you are processing a list, if you need both the values and the index of each item, then you can use this enumerate function. It will give you a list of pairs so that you can access both when you are processing that list. Any questions so far? All right, let's also say this. How can we copy to a list? So this part is important because there's a common mistake that many people do, which is when we want to copy a list, we want to have two separate data. Like, as in this example, let's say I have this 1, 2, 3, 4 as a list, and I want to make a copy of it. So which means that in my memory, I need to have two lists. Their values will be same, but I will have two separate lists. How can I do it? Well, this is one way to do it. I can first create an empty list, and then I can go over and with a for loop, I can go over all the items in my first list, and then I can add that item to my second list by using this append function, so that I will have these two, list 1 and list 2, two separate, but their values are same list. This is one way to do it. This is the correct way. The other one is this. I can have a list, and then I create one empty list by using square brackets, and then by using the plus operator, I concatenate the list that I want to take a copy of it, and then it will create me a new list that has the same value. But what is the problem? If I have this list, and if I just say that list 2 is equal to list 1, okay, then it doesn't take its copy actually. What it does is, in the original I have this list 1 in my RAM, and then when I say list 2 is equal to list 1, list 2 also refers to the same data in my memory. So I will still have one copy of that data. What does it mean? Like, what does it change in the practice? Let me show it in a code. Well, let's say we have this list 1, which is, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the list 2, what I will do is, with the correct version, I can first create an empty list and then concatenate this list 1. When I do it, in my memory, I will have two copies. How can I know it? Well, let me show it in this way. Let's say that for the list 1, for the item index 2, I will change it to A, okay? So I will replace the value. And then I will check, okay, what has happened with the list 1 now? Okay, it reflects the changes. So now it's 1 to A4. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4 anymore. How about list 2? How about list 2? Let's check it. Okay, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I had two copies, and I just changed one of them. I didn't touch the other one. But what I will do now is, I will do it the wrong way of copying. So I will define list 1 as 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will just say, okay, list 2 is equal to list 1. When I set this, and then I will just repeat the same operation. Like, I will change the item index 2 of list 1 to A. And then I will check, okay, list 1, what is it? It's 1 to A4 as it should be. How about list 2? It's also 1 to A4. So here is the problem. I just changed only one actually. I just said list 1 should be changed. Like the second index of list 1 should be A, but then it also affected list 2. Even though I didn't say list 2, it affected the list 1, list 2. So this is the problem. Like if you do it, actually we are not taking a copy of that list. What we are doing is, as in our code, as in this example showed, let me zoom in to much better see. List 1 first refers to 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I say list 1 is equal, list 2 is equal to list 1, list 2 just also refers to the same location. So when I change this number to A, list 2 is also referring to the same location. That's why list 2 is also affected. So in short, if you are asked to take a copy of a list, don't do this one. You have to do either this, or you can do this. Otherwise, it will not be an actual copy operation. Shall I proceed? All right. The following examples is just some things that is actually very clear, very straightforward. First one is, well, we can use them list to do many operations. Like, let's say that we have a list of numbers, and then we want to take the average of it. How we can do it? First, we need to calculate their total. So we set this total variable to 0. And then using a for loop, for each value in our list, we update the total value. We add it to our total value. At the end of this for loop, we will have the summation of all numbers in our list. And then if you want to calculate this total, the average score, well, we need to divide total by the number of items in our list. How can I find it? By using this len function. It gives me the length of array, length of list, which is the number of items in the list. So if I divide total by the number of items in the list, it will give me the average. So this is just one example to how to use lists. The other one is this readable because of the colors? Not so much. Okay, let me do it in this way then. Let me copy paste it. This example, actually, I think I had already done it. Let me check. Oh yes, I had already done it here. Well, this example doesn't, again, a very obvious thing, but you can give lists as a parameter to functions. So when you are defining a function, like here, you can assume that, okay, this value will be a list actually. And then, even though we didn't define it here any place like it is a list, I treat it as a list. How can I do? And then, like again, in a for loop, I give my parameter in this loop as if it is something, an iteratable object, and then I calculate the total. So this is doable. Like you can run it and you can define a total, a variable like this, a function like this, and then you can treat them as a list. Or even also the list can be returned in a functions. You can define a function that returns a list. So list can be given as a parameter. List can be also returned. So when you have defined this function, what will happen? Okay, I defined these two functions that get the total one. Let me do it in this way. And then when I use this function, I can give it a list, and then when I run it, I didn't get any, well, I didn't print it, that's why we got this. Anyhow, let me do it in this way. Let's also print it. All right. So it prints the total. But if you give it not a list, like I'll just give 5, okay? It's not a list. Even though I defined it as a list, but I didn't give it a list, I will get an error. So when you are defining a function, and then you said, okay, this should take a list, and then you treat it in that way, but when you are using the function, if you don't give it a list, then you will get an error like this. So you have to be careful about it, like what is that list, what is that data type, what is the type of that parameter when you are using that. Shall I proceed? All right, so this list was about parameters. This example was about, again, returning functions can return lists. Okay, this example is about how to write a list to file. So let's say I have a list that contains many values in that, and I want to write it to a file. How can I do it? Well, one way is using this write lines function. So let's say we have this list, cities, New York, Boston, Atlanta, Dallas, and then we want to write these city names to a file, cities.txt. So first I need to open the file with double option so that I will be able to write it. Then if I say write lines, and then as a parameter I just give my list totally, then it will write all the data in my list to the file. But when we are doing it, we need to be more careful about it because it will not automatically put this new line character in my file. So when I open this file, I will see something like this: New York, Boston, Atlanta, Dallas, but there's no space between them and also no new line. So it will not be a readable file. If you want to make it a readable file really, then you should use this kind of a for loop in which you iterate over all the items separately in that list, and then you write them separately also to your file, and also you put this new line character. So when you do that, then you can get a file content like this, in which is each item is written in a separate line. And similarly, like we can, I want to read, let's say we want to read a data from a file and I want to keep it in a list. How can I do it? Well, again, we first need to open the file by using R option so that we will be able to read it. And then we first initialize an empty list. CD is in this example because we want to fill it with the file content. And then we read the file line by line by using this for loop. For line in file. In file is our file object. Then for each line, we add it to our list by using this append function. But when we are appending it, this line contains also the new line character. Probably I won't want to put it. So how can I remove that line? Well, by using this R strip, which basically removes the given characters from the right side of the text. So by R strip, and then I give this new line character so that my the city names that I will put will not contain any new line at the end. So once I am done with this for loop, I will close the file. And there is one more thing that we had seen actually before, which is this split function. I will also show it in our code. Let me adjust it and make it more clear. When we were seeing this input-output operations, we had also seen how to read CSV files. And when we read a line from a CSV file, it is all with these, all values are separated with a comma. So what we were doing was we were splitting it with a comma, if we do that, then actually it returns us again a list. We had already seen that, but when we were seeing it, I didn't say that it returns me a list because we hadn't seen lists yet at that time. But just now, to let you know that the split function actually returns a list, which means that for its return value, you can use any list operations that we have seen, like sort, append, remove, del, whatever it is. You can all use it for the result of a split function.